Hey everybody, I am back. So, last week and a half or so, there hasn't really been much posted that's I feel is really interesting enough to dive into. Gary from Venice Gallery posted another video of her. He was driving her around again and he dropped her off. I think it looked like maybe a courthouse or something, but really not much happened in that video, and she came back in the car and everything, so I guess he's driving her around still. Yeah, and there's also a video where she went into the lobby of a apartment building, like luxury apartments, and demanded that they get rid of the rat traps. And she said she's going to come back. I believe she said, "I'm going to be back." And then the next morning, around 5 in the morning or something, she went over there and just picked up all of the plastic bait boxes that they had behind the apartments and threw them out and posted the video. So I'm going to talk about that briefly as well. So what this is this video I'm going to show you is a conversation between her and Mary. Mary is kind of the last man standing, I think, as far as one of her, her most out front, front and center advocates who's going to go to court. And she's got all these ideas, these schemes and plans about, having a diagnosis of autism made with Daisy. And I have certain opinions about this. Basically, I just don't think this is ethical, and I don't know that necessarily she has autism, and encouraging a psychiatrist or psychologist to diagnose her with a condition just to help in a court situation. I don't know, man. What are you doing, Mary? So I also wanted to say something about Mary. There's something about Mary, okay? I'm not going to focus on, spending much time bashing. I'm questioning her. I absolutely have questions about, her methodology and thinking. Obviously, she feels sorry for Daisy. She's a compassionate person. She probably sees the broke little girl in her and, really wants to try to help her navigate. I am not clear. Maybe if somebody can help clarify, what is she going to court for? I believe there's a court thing tomorrow. Is this because of those warrants that she's on the lam for? Is this to get her kids back, or what is the goal? Something is going to transpire, and she's just trying to show that she just really, she's okay. She's not a threat. That's what this is all about, getting the diagnosis of autism. Anyway, Mary. Let's talk about Mary for a second. I'm going to show you a brief clip because I had known about Mary before I knew she had a Daisy connection. And this is from a terrible news story from last year where, once again, a homeless person attacked people down there at the old Venice/Santa Monica area, which is not a safe area, considering all the tourist traffic and everything that goes down there, its popularity. And there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on down there. And 2 women were brutally attacked down by the Venice Canals area. And S-aid. I guess that's the term we need to use, the code word, S-aid. One of them was Mary, okay? And she was brave enough to sit there in the shape that she was in after that brutal beatdown and name herself and tell her story looking the way she did. I respect the hell out of her for doing that. People need to see what leniency and weak laws and the hyper liberal, I believe there's a time and place for all kinds of the political spectrum, but this ain't it. Mary is lucky to have escaped with her life. In this video, she you can see her teeth are knocked out, her jaw's wired shut. She's got so much bruising on her chest that her chest is like solid. It's just unbelievable. Unfortunately, the other woman that was assaulted by the same man the same night went into a coma and died. So what really surprised me was when I was watching a Daisy video and Mary shows up, and it's like, who is this new person? Who's the new character in the show? And I noticed her front teeth were missing, and I'm like, is that Mary from the attack from last year. It's the same woman. So, I have a lot of respect for her. I do. She's went through hell. She has really moved on and recovered remarkably. So I want to let you know where I'm coming from with her. I haven't said anything about her. But I gotta question some of the stuff I'm hearing on this phone call. What are you saying, man? What is this plan? You're wanting to get a diagnosis for the convenience of somebody who's making the choice to you know do things and cause chaos and upset people enough so that she continues to get arrested. But it's not just the stuff about the Starbucks arrest and all that that concerns me the most, and that really has me questioning why she's supporting Daisy in this manner, is that Daisy lost custody of her children, okay? Her daughter is with another family. She's got a new family, okay? Her two sons do not want to see her at this present time. They are afraid of her. We all know what she did to them. We don't need to go over that. But that is part of what she wants. She wants to co-parent her kids. She has tried to see them many times and has gotten arrested for it. That is what bothers me most of all about this, is all these schemes and plans to minimize and make her seem like she's okay. Her goal is to get back with her kids. So, why are you trying to make this easier for her? This is not a good thing for the kids. None of these people that are helping her out ever talk about that. So, first, let's take a look at what happened to Mary last year.
A stranger jumped her from behind while she was taking a walk near her home around 10:30 p.m. Saturday night, April 6th. She's not sure about the first blow, but says it sent her immediately into a daze. She does remember falling to the ground and being bludgeoned, punched in the face and head repeatedly, as well as other elements about the attack.
I think he was trying to kill me. I think he tried to kill me. But I'm very tall. I'm 6 feet tall. So I think maybe it would have been hard for him to keep me down. I don't know.
Yeah, you're a strong woman.
I know the other girl, she was in a coma.
Yes.
So I don't know how she's doing.
All right, let's take a look at this. So this is Mary on the phone, and they are prepping for, I guess, the the court thing tomorrow, Wednesday. Again, if somebody can kind of fill me in on what is supposed to go on. What is the point of this? Listening to this feels to me more like disability appropriation, meaning they're going for this. They want a psychologist or psychiatrist to officially diagnose Daisy with autism, because that's going to help her defense. That will excuse and dismiss, I guess, behavior that has been disruptive. I think they feel that they'll take pity on her and have more of an understanding about where she's coming from and realize that she is okay. She's okay. And it's all because she has autism. Remember, she was making some remarks to one of the ladies on the phone. She stands on her tiptoes. She's telling the psychologist or therapist, she stands on her tiptoes. And that is a symptom of autism. When have we seen her do that? She had one video when she first moved into Ben's place where she was demonstrating how you're supposed to walk. You're supposed to walk on your tiptoes or heel to toe or whatever it is. This is just all bullshit. It's bullshit. You know what? I don't know what her official diagnoses are. I believe myself that she is a member of the dark triad team. She's definitely got some symptoms of borderline and narcissism. But autism, hey, you know what? I'm actually open to learning about whether this is true or not. Maybe it is. Maybe that's mixed in there with everything. But I think in the context of what they're trying to accomplish here, I think that they're just, that this is not genuine. It's disingenuous to say that that's kind of like using it as an excuse. I don't like that. I don't like that they're using it as an excuse to worm her away from yet another situation where she will not take responsibility for herself. or find some other thing we can pin it on. So here we go. Let's start. Let's start now.
I think they just need to get your official diagnosis, get to know you a little bit.
And I like what you said. LA and Santa Monica PD are the best people in the world.
They really are. The things that the level of care that they need to.
They're so empathetic and amazing and patient. So I can. That's what's cool is I can do my speeches in Venice. People like when I do them in Venice.
All right, people like them when she does them. That would indicate that at least more than one person has said, God, I like when you do those speeches in Venice, especially the ones at 2 a.m. where she wakes everybody up and punishes them for having a place to stay because they make money, they're yuppies and they work.
So I'm just...
Hold on. So if there's people that like the speeches, show me one person that does. Show me one person that really likes the speeches. Maybe Mary does, but then there's got to be a second person because it's people that like the speeches. I don't know if that's true. I think she might be deluding herself a little with it.
And I know when to stop and when, I know how to do it in Venice.
Okay, she knows when to stop. That's interesting because when you're autistic, it's not necessarily about having control over your how you feel and your reaction to things, your physical reaction to things. But she's saying right here in this video that is incriminating herself, and she leaves it up for the whole world to see. This is a girl that says she's a genius. She's letting everybody watch her plans as they formulate their plans here for court. Why would you leave this for anybody to watch?
Because it's been long enough. And also all my homies are there and all the store people like me and everyone expects Daisy the Venice healer to be in Venice. So
I think there's probably a few out there who pray to God that she doesn't show up again. But no, she's going back. Don't worry, she'll be there.
Gotta go into hiding for a little.
It's kind of a place
go back
where
to
you
Venice.
can be a little freer. Santa Monica's very constricted and uptight. They have a reputation for being very uptight.
They do?
You got really lucky getting that apartment there, but it's also kind of an uptight neighborhood,
Yeah, that's interesting because they're an uptight neighborhood, but she's got a free apartment, she's got free therapy, she's got some food, a little bit of allowance, she's got everything for free. But there's a problem with Santa Monica. They're a little too uptight. It's never good enough.
I don't mind. I just skate down to Venice.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, so this happens with me and Santa Monica PD and Venice.
Does she ever let anybody complete a sentence?
Police. And then when I do it with Venice police and they want to arrest me, then I just hang out in Santa Monica. And then when it happens in Santa Monica, I just hang out in Venice. So I'm just going to hang out in Venice.
She absolutely loves being on the lam. She loves it. She acts as if, constant trauma and PTSD about the cops, but she loves this game. She loves being the outlaw.
Once the police know who you are, they don't even try to threaten you because they know that you're harmless.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
harmless, huh?
Of them getting to know who you are, and they don't really know who you are because you're new in town, and they just don't know who you are. But Venice police.
Well, the yoga studios know who she is now, and Trader Joe's. And the other thing I was going to mention was there's that video of her going into the lobby of that apartment place, yelling at them about the rat traps and how they need to get rid of the rat traps. And she says, I'm going to be back. Because I think they want her to get out. Shocker. She came back. She videoed all of this. And it's still out there. She came back at 5 a.m. and picked up all the bait boxes around the outside of the apartments and threw them out. And people were like, Daisy, you shouldn't put this on the internet. Somebody's going to look at this and see that you. She says, nobody knows where I am. Well, all you have to do is watch the video. For some reason, her videos come out backwards. The sound sync on some of them are way off. I don't know how this happens. Maybe the public Wi-Fi. But I caught the name of a shop, in the background as she's skating by. You just freeze frame it, flip it around, and by the name of that business, I found exactly where she was and what apartments they were. All right, here we are at the scene of the crime. We're gonna take a quick look at this. The rat trap theft. That's how she spends her days. Okay, yeah, they're called the Park, Santa Monica Apartments. She was skating on over. She's on second. Sounds like an Abbott and Costello skit. Who's on third? She probably took Broadway, woo, all the way up. She took it up. She's skating on up to Broadway in fifth. Here we go. This is the Park Apartments. Little did the guy know, the guy at the front desk. Little did he know he was going to be the next on the firing squad, the next punching bag. Okay, so another thing that I used was just little clues about the architecture. Once she was kind of zipping on by, just kind of recognized this shape. So here it is, the Park Apartments. And we're gonna go around. If you watch that video where this thing's going a little slow tonight. But if you look at the video where she's skating and collecting the rat traps, why, it was happening right here. And you know what else? In my opinion, I think this is where Ben lives. I think this is his apartments right here. That's what I'm thinking. I think it was conveniently located. Maybe, no, she could have maybe have spent the night, at his joint here, and just went down into the lobby to bother the employees down there. But you think so? You think? Okay, let's get back to this.
But Venice police love you. They all give you hugs and kisses and
kisses?
Everything, right? So you have really good relationships with the LAPD. So, it's just that they don't know you. And that's why when Dr. McEnany gives you your diagnosis, and we can go there with your medical alert bracelet, go there with Celia.
Oh, boy, they're going to set her up with a medical alert bracelet. Why don't they stick her in a wheelchair like they did Harvey Weinstein and wheel her in?
And we'll go visit the LAPD the Santa Monica PD and explain to them who you are, what you are, and why you do what you do, and that you have autism, that sometimes you stim a little bit, and the stimming is...
No, they know I'm a superhero.
Oh, seriously? Oh, come on, man. Ridiculous.
Are there to awaken and unite them, and I don't believe in that mental health crap. That's what we're going to tell the judge.
What mental health crap? The mental health crap that got you the free apartment, and that was your hustle last year. All the free stuff and the disability and the worker, the in-home support worker, the free servant. You don't believe in the mental health crap. You do when you can gain something from it, something free.
Whatever you want, but we do need to get a diagnosis so you don't get the mental bracelets.
Yeah, we just say that to the judge. But to the cops, we're going to say the truth. We're going to be like, we're here to awaken and unite us.
So they might take her to jail. Is that what's going on here? Okay, I'm trying to piece this together because, again, I don't know entirely what this next thing is about. So it's either autism or jail. That's why this is so important.
We're just going to lay low.
You also need to tell them about your diagnosis so that you're protected, legally protected. Okay?
As my advocate, you and I will go together, and I will stand there while you tell them.
Yes.
Because then I can declare, I could be like, a superhero, that's what I mean. I can say my truth, but agree with you.
No. Don't start talking like that. You're going to do that. That's going to, and you know what? She will. She's going to go in there and do all that stuff about the 5 steps and global liberation and the otters and, to bulldoze the beach. So she's going to start in with that. She is. You're going to.
I like how we do that together.
Yes, of course.
And then if you're my advocate, then they can just go talk to you. They don't have to come to me because I'm glad they didn't arrest me yesterday. They were definitely watching me.
They should call me. They should call Celia and possibly Jennifer and maybe even the chief of police if he gets to know who you are. We can explain to him. We can sit down with him and tell him who you are, so he knows who you are and knows that you've never
sit down with him. Like, what are you going to give him a cup of coffee? Hey, come on, man, sit down and talk about this. Like, she's going to pull up a chair and no.
You've never been accused of a violent crime. You've never been really arrested for anything that's dangerous.
Okay, really arrested for anything that's dangerous. Well, she's said she's had like over 30 arrests. And I think a lot of those have been for breaking restraining orders, and generally restraining orders are put against you because somebody thinks you're going to do something dangerous to them.
And you're a good person.
Where is this
and you just
coming
have
from? She's a
a
good
tendency
person.
to do a little stimming
Oh,
with
goodness
the
gracious.
loudspeaker.
Stimming with the loudspeaker. Stimming is a behavior that people with autism, maybe some other disorders will do. Like hand flapping or rocking, or fidgeting a lot with something. It's sort of a calming, maybe a self-soothing method. I think because there's a lot of sensory overload with conditions like that. How in the world do you get that out of knowingly? Getting on a skateboard with a loudspeaker at 2 a.m., skating all the way down to Venice, planting yourself in front of apartments and blasting a lecture about, the yuppies and that this is sleep tax and how can they're going to get woken up because the homeless are getting woken up. Well, how do you connect that? Do they really think this is going to work? I mean, really, I guess in a way I'm concerned whether the police are that stupid because, or the whoever, all the people in charge, the judges, because everything is so lenient here in LA. Let's carry on because I got something else I want to say about that.
And
Speaking
and
of
he'll
that,
tell you what he wants from you. Like, can you keep the volume to a certain level?
Yeah.
So that it doesn't. So they don't get complaints from the neighbors.
Good idea.
You have to think about that.
That's a very good idea.
And then we'll leave.
I like that.
Yeah. So don't worry.
And, let's go by and talk to them this week.
What, honey? What?
Let's go by and talk to them.
No, we have to wait till Dr. McEnany does her magic, and we're going to get
Dr. McEnany
so that we can
physical.
Does her magic. I mean, is that how medicine is supposed to work? Just diagnosing somebody because someone's telling you to? Isn't that grounds for malpractice? I'm just asking.
Bracelets on me, so I'll just stay in Venice for now.
Yeah, they look at proof. They want proof. Police work based on proof and evidence. So we need to give them medical evidence that you are, just that you have a diagnosis and that you're okay. You're not dangerous.
You're okay. Yeah. You're okay. That's the terminology. That's what the doctor's going to write out on the pad. She's okay.
That's what we need to give them. But we need to give them something concrete, which is we need to get from the medical team. So let's just be patient. Go into retirement with the loudspeaker in Santa Monica for a couple months, okay?
That's the most intelligent thing she said yet. I actually completely agree with that.
Yeah. That's
all right. Yeah. All right. And
this is strange to me too. I mean, she's always got somebody to help her, some an adult in the room to help her out, and somebody is like basically trying to keep her. Let's say Mary has got the best of intentions, which she probably does. I don't agree with this whole diagnosis just to absolve her from her responsibilities, but something very big is on the line here for Daisy. From what it sounds like, is she may be facing jail time, which I don't think she's going to get a day of. And here she is. What is she doing? Picking her toenails or doing what? She's only like half paying attention, kind of like the way a kid would do, when you're like not really kind of half listening to the adults in the room. Because, I mean, if this is really that important, look at all the work that everybody else is doing. Why she just kind of sits there and.
It's all being handled. Everything was sent in yesterday, so your public defender knows that you are compliant. You are not non-compliant. You were compliant today. So.
Yay.
And you said you did call in to the courthouse?
Yeah, I told them. I was on the phone at like 9:15.
And what did they say? Did they say anything to you?
No, they didn't see me, so I called in on video, but I told them I was on the phone at 9:15. And that they didn't acknowledge me, so that's why I videoed it.
Okay, well, anyway, they have evidence that I called them yesterday, told them what the situation was, that I couldn't take you because I had been called into work.
So they have all that. To just listen to mental health court.
Yeah, that's what they need to do, because there's
and I thought she was excited about going into mental health court and getting all these different diagnoses. I mean, last year she was really up on the idea, Now she's just burned out. We got to go on to something else. Just do something new.
Yeah, that's what they need to do, because there's a reason that mental health court is there, and it's exactly for this reason.
Yeah,
they're getting paid a lot of money to have that department, so that they need to just listen to that department. And you're not in the normal, you're not in the regular court. You're in mental health court. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a little bit of special treatment, and but you also have to be cool, because until you get
okay, I want to say something here, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. We're listening to Mary talk to Daisy about getting special treatment, and that this is a good thing. This is mental health court, so you're not going to kind of be be able to have more excuses than the average person. So this is what I am immediately thinking of is, part of the reason why we have so many issues here in California, especially Southern California, is that we have people who commit crime after crime after crime after crime, get arrested and arrested and arrested until something really bad happens. And then they look on their record and they say, oh, this guy's had 20 prior arrests or whatever. And then we get angry and we shake our fists and we're like, why didn't you take care of this, before this happened or whatever? We give people so many chances. We say it's all mental health. They had a crisis. We let them off. And then they recommit a thing where they got to be arrested again. And here is what I am thinking of is Mary just went through just about the worst thing anybody could go through and survive. Okay. And she would know more than anybody because she sued the city of LA for not keeping us safe, and then this happening to her. But here she is in her own small way, trying to get Daisy let off the hook. She's coming up with the schemes. Mary is the one that coming up with the ideas to minimize what Daisy has done and to kind of, in a way, allow her to not take any responsibility for it. Daisy is sitting here so bored with everything. She's picking her feet, trimming her, whatever she is. Look at her. She's completely slumped over, just about as disengaged as she could get, like a child, not paying attention when you're trying to talk to them. And that's what I'm thinking of. It's like, why, Mary, are you, becoming part of the problem by inserting yourself into a spot that could be very important for Daisy's growth, and continuing to let her to be keep her being a child in a way.
Diagnosis from Dr. McEnany, they consider you just like any other person, right?
Yeah.
So
magic,
you have a special diagnosis, and let's get that in the medical alert bracelet, okay?
Medical alert bracelet.
All right, I love you.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, goddess.
Kind of looks like the video is sticking here. But that is just my thoughts on this is, everybody's working so hard to help Daisy avoid her responsibilities. That's my bottom line here. I don't know if she has autism or not. Maybe she does. That's not really, I think, the important thing is whether she has it or not. It's how it's being used here. It's just being used as a tool to get her off the hook. That's what I don't like. Anyway, what do you think? I am going to put this thing together, put it to bed, and then I am going to shove off. So I hope you liked it. And once again, thank you for watching and listening. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.